Welcome to the first episode where we will have a large number of interviews with successful entrepreneurs. This concept is called Interviews with Successful Entrepreneurs, and that is what it is. Right now we will have an interview with Christian, and Christian is behind Service Lovers, and he has just been in Silicon Valley to pitch this idea, which is really exciting. So without further ado, let's go up and have a talk with Christian. So now we are sitting with Christian, and Christian is, as I mentioned, one of the persons behind Service Lovers, and he has said yes to do this interview, which is just great. So just in the beginning, Christian, could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure, my name is Christian, I'm 42 years old. I dropped out of corporate life here two and a half years ago, and started Service Lovers, which is a possibility to rate the best service employees in the world. I started this because I think I want to create a movement about acknowledging those that do the best. So yeah, dropped out of corporate life.
Perfect, great introduction. And as you also mentioned, it was an app. Here you'd have Service Lovers. And could you please, just for those people who do not know the app, could you please tell a little about how it is working?
Sure. Well, we created the app, which is about you can see. If you guys know LinkedIn, it's kind of like you have a profile. So we made this possible for service employees to make a profile, but we also made it possible to get acknowledgement. So you can say we combined it with like TripAdvisor or Trustpilot or Yelp, you can say, that you can actually rate somebody. So we combined like a profile site with rating site, and then we also put in like something called Foursquare, like you get geolocation. So all of a sudden you have this app that you create your profile and you can get rating for customers, and you can also see where you are. So when customers open up the app, they can see wherever you are and then they can rate you. So that's basically what we started out with, and we found out quite fast that customers don't want to download an app to say thank you for you. So it's like we pivoted quite a lot recently in the last half year, where we actually now has a tablet solution also that when we sell it to companies, you can as a customer go in and rate directly on a tablet, so you don't have to download an app. So I think, I'll get back to that pivoting your product and finding out the needs and what you should move into is very, very important. So we started with an app, but now we are on a website and on a tablet solution as well. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes clearly sense. So when we are talking about this app and so on, how many users are using this app right now? Do you have any?
Well, it's quite a bit. I mean, not immensely, but we are like 6,000, I believe, 6,500 right now.
Okay.
But what we do is we go into the companies that want to have motivated employees. So the whole thing here is we believe that measure without motivation doesn't move a thing. So it's primarily now like companies would like to get motivated employees, right? The employees would like to get recognized for a job well done. And with the Service Lovers app, they have control of their own sort of digital CV via Service Lovers. So the companies can now see which of the employees are doing great, because customers will then rate them and say, you're really good there, you're really good there. So in order to grow, we go by the companies. So the company says to the employees, hey, you guys are able now to get your own digital CV, and your customers, our customers that comes in, can actually give you recognition. And we'll be looking at whoever gets the best recognition. We'll give you a gift certificate, we'll give you wine, we'll give you flights, whatever they're going to give them. But it's a win-win-win. You know, it's a win for the companies. They get better motivated employees. The employees get recognized, and they can take the CV, digital CV, with them in the rest of their career. And the customers actually can see and feel a better service. So you see, it's win-win-win. So that's what the whole ecosystem is about. Yeah,
that's good. Okay. So I know that you have just been in Silicon Valley, and for a lot of entrepreneurs, Silicon Valley is really a hype thing. A lot of entrepreneurs really want to go there, especially when they have some sort of technology, right? And apps, for instance. Yeah. So you have just been there, and could you maybe just tell the audience a bit about how it is to be there, and just in general, yeah.
Sure. I won a trip over there, and I had a really amazing week actually. I spent it there with 2 amazing German guys that also has a startup. Really amazing dudes. Actually, one of them is coming to visit me very soon. I'm looking forward to that. But so we were over there trying to go into all these companies and find out what is it they do. Both startup companies, we had huge companies meetings as well with like Salesforce, Pinterest, Google, these huge companies. We also had a great meetings with, and also we had some amazing meetings with some business angels. You know, people that are very, very wealthy, has been through round A, B, C, and all that kind of thing. So they're very in tune with what it is they look for and what they do, and very driven people. So it was like 3 different experiences basically. You had the big corporations, how that was. You had the entrepreneurs that we met at NASA. Quite frankly, there's a lot of startups that is in NASA, renting the places in there. And then we had the business angels. And if I should start with the big corporations, which is corporations that started small, right? Pinterest was small, all these guys are small but are huge now. They all have this entrepreneur's spirit still, I believe. I mean, the guy from Google was very inspiring. He talked a lot about growth hacking, which is the big thing, big black thing now. Mm-hmm. But what I took away is the whole culture about they're very small teams, and they're very focused on the things they do and metrics. So the whole thing comes down to metrics, which I learned a lot about. I'm not a really financial, economical metrics kind of dude, but I could definitely see that you really need to have the metrics in order. And so that's what I've taken home and saying, for instance, the Google says you have to have the Northern Star, 1 metrics to rule them all. So that's the kind of thing that we put in action and said, okay, so we got all these metrics we've been measuring on, but what is the rule number 1 metrics? And that is for us, retention, how many opens the app and go in and look at the profile. That's our 1 metrics rule, right? So I got that from them. And if you see the small entrepreneurs that we met, man, I mean, they're all younger than me. I'm 42, so I'm the old one in the startup environment. But you see all these young ones just running. I mean, they're seriously in the office 6 o'clock, staying there till what, 8, 10, don't have to do anything else with that. So they're living it full time. Yeah. Plus 6 hours. Okay. But anyway, they're amazing. I think it more stroked me the way they're very driven and they're very, very well spoken. I mean, they're very good at communicating. Yeah. That's really striking, I think. Yeah. And then you have the business angels. They really were amazing meeting. I mean, these guys talked a lot about how the environment of Silicon Valley and the business angels there and the venture funds in Silicon Valley is very different, and don't compare them to anywhere else. They said, I mean, maybe the Americans, maybe they said that because they're American, but I do believe that they had something. One of them said, Cayman, a big guy from something called Plug and Play, he used to be CEO of that, founded that. He said, we always give the founders the benefit of the doubt. You know, and I said, what do you mean by that? And for him, it's like when we see a personality that comes in and says, this is what I'm going to do, I'm driven for this is my team, this is how I'm going to do it and build it. They're more, he says, in Silicon Valley, they're taking more, what do you say, they say yes to that person rather than just say, we don't believe in you. Yeah. So they're very much more on the yay hat on it, you can say. Okay. And and equity-wise, they're not going to take as much equity as normal somewhere else will, because they want you to be driven big time. There was another business angel that said, which was really interesting as well. He's made a whole new model equity-wise that he says, okay, fair enough, you get these equity as a co-founder and you come in. You have these warrant programs that you normally have. You get X amount of warrants if you've been here a year and so. But he made another warrant program, which is really interesting, I think, which is about whoever stays within the company till it exits gets X amount of warrants. So there's a new way of saying he wants his staff and his employees to stay on board, because he believes that the longer you are, you know, the better survival possibility it is for the company, because you are the one that creates benefits of it. And he's written articles about it. He was very controversial because he did this, because he's like, whoa, people want to get their warrants after a year and then they move on to the next startup or next. But these guys stayed, and he had 4 exits behind him, and he's taking in, I think he said 4 of his startups, or his 8 was round C. So I mean, this is a guy that knows what he's talking about. He was very, very interesting, very inspiring guy.
When you say round C, for me, I'm not sure what that means. What is it?
Right. Well, round A is first you get like seed rounds, and then you get round A is probably you get a bigger amount of the first venture funds come in. I believe it's like $1 million that comes in there, and then you have the B round, which is obviously, I don't know if you talk about 10 million or whatever, but when you come up to C and D round, we're talking 100, maybe even millions at that time. I believe Trustpilot up by around D right now. So that's where you get a serious amount of money, and you've obviously showed your traction, but you need to scale even further. So it's kind of like that scaling.
So you cannot start with like D,
No.
otherwise.
No.
So you have to scale it.
No. You scale with normally pre-seed
Okay.
funding, and then you go to round A, which is getting the first whatever 2, 3, 10 million kroners. That'll be like 500,000 to $1 million, and then you got to prove yourself there. A lot of people don't go from A to B. Actually, new research just showed. Creandum just came out with a research about that. But
Okay.
but at least that's how you go funding yourself.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So another thing, you know, when we are into that, how does it work when you pitch your idea, your product, and so on, and these investors and business angels are sitting and listening to you? How many percent are there any sorts? I know it depends on the company, of course, and so on. But are there any general things that you might could say when we're dealing? Are we speaking about 50% normally that those want, or
Right.
what are we dealing with here?
You mean how many percentage they want to keep? Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a very thumb rule. They're not going to take more than between 20 and 25%.
Okay.
They're never going to go for 50 because it will kill you. As an entrepreneur, you will certainly become an employer.
Yeah.
So they're very aware, and in Denmark too, but in America especially, they want you to be as hungry as possible.
Okay.
They want you to run. They want you to be against the back all the time. They want you to get up in the morning and drive for getting your success. And success, especially in America, is equal money, right?
Yeah.
So they won't take more than 25%. Sometimes you go up, I believe 30, but it's around 20 to 30. That kind of, right? They will never go further than that. Otherwise, they don't understand the game. So they won't do that.
Okay. Interesting.
Because they'll never dilute you that much. Because you can see yourself. If you start a company, if you found a company, and all of a sudden you find yourself when you come to that round C or round D, you have maybe 1, 2, 5, 10% or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't feel you have control of your company anymore. Well, you won't have that when you come further up the chain, but you won't feel the commitment at the same time because you'll feel more like your employee, sorry.
Yeah.
And that's not why you founded the company. That's because you wanted to create something, right? So they're very aware of that.
That's interesting.
20% is the thumb rule, I'll say.
Okay.
I got a C round, and they're no more than 20%. They came in.
You want C round?
No. Sorry, seed round.
Seed round. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll never take more than that.
Okay. And I have seen another video, Christian, where you were talking about how it went in Silicon Valley. Could you also share that?
Yeah.
You know, how?
Sure. I mean, we came over there to compete against each other to win 1 million euros. But the thing was that they're indecisive still. The investors is French one called Partech and Lemon Blood, and they haven't decided yet whoever they want to invest in. So there's still dialogues going on.
So okay.
So we never know what's going on. But you know, it was interesting. You know, we pitched our decks, all the German guys and me, and we'll see. I mean, you never know. We're not in the looking anyway, and also it's equity, right? They want equity for coming with the money still. So you also got to see, in my case, that when is it we're going to take new rounds in. I'm funded still now for quite a bit, so maybe I want to scale a little bit more, show some more and better traction before I take the next round in, because if I take someone in now, I won't get the best valuation. Yeah. So it's a little bit like that, but again, it would be nice. They didn't point at me, so I can't say, hey, we're in dialogue, so I'm not in dialogue with them. But who knows? They might come back when they see the traction. I don't know.
Hope so. Cross my fingers.
Yeah.
So
it was funny. It was interesting.
Agree. So Christian, are there anything that you might have in mind that you could share with the audience when it comes to entrepreneurship? Just in short, just in some points, maybe bullet points.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, if I should give you some advice, I'll think if you stand in front of investors, you got to be damn prepared. And my advice is, rehearse, and then when you rehearsed, then rehearse again. And I'll also say, seriously, have a nice presentation that you haven't done just in some bullet forms, and you haven't had someone with a graphical touch looked at it. I use my graphic designers a lot because the way it looks, the visual, it means something. So have that in order, get it nicely tuned, and then make sure you know your figures and your numbers, that what is it you're doing and how do you get to that. I think that's the three main things. Rehearse, get the visual in order, and get your numbers right so you know how it is. And then comes the classic that you guys probably know, that who's your team and what's your traction and why are you better than the rest. All these things you guys know already, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But get your presentation straight and rehearse it. I'll say that's one of the most important things.
Good, perfect, Christian. And I will leave in the description something about Service Lovers so you can check Christian out. And I think there's nothing more to say than thank you for joining us, Christian, today. It was a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed that Christian was talking about this subject. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Cheers.